Across the pages of the Bible, the mention of giants has always stirred awe and confusion. These weren't just figures of myth, but beings said to have once walked among humanity, colossal in size, power, and mystery. Yet few realize that the giants of Scripture weren't one single race. They were many, descendants of the Nephilim, hybrid offspring born from the forbidden union between the sons of God and the daughters of men. Each tribe carried unique traits, ruling different regions and leaving a trail of legends and ruins in their wake. The book of Genesis opens this mystery. Chapter 6 speaks of celestial beings, the Ben-Ha Elohim, who descended to earth, drawn by the beauty of mortal women. From their union came the Nephilim, a generation of beings who were neither fully divine nor human. They towered over men, spreading corruption and violence until the great flood swept across the world. Yet somehow, after the deluge, they reappeared. The question that has haunted scholars for centuries is, how? Many ancient sources suggest that the fallen angels, known as the Watchers, never ceased their interference. Even after divine judgment, they continued influencing mankind from the shadows, manifesting through cults, idols, and bloodlines. These entities, worshipped as gods by pagan nations, carried the same dark essence that once produced the Nephilim. Thus, long after the floodwaters receded, their offspring returned under new names, hidden among the tribes of the Middle East. 5 great races of giants are mentioned in Scripture: the Rephaim, Anakim, Amons, Zuzim, and Zamzumim. Each bore the mark of celestial rebellion, and each shaped human history in ways few can imagine. The Rephaim, perhaps the most infamous, were feared even in death. The very word Rephaim in Hebrew and Phoenician carried ghostly meaning, spirits that linger between life and the grave. Legends say their souls wandered the underworld, haunting battlefields and ancient tombs. Their king, Og of Bashan, is described as a true titan, a man nearly 15 feet tall whose bed of iron measured over 13 feet. His size and might made him one of the last surviving relics of the pre-flood age. Then came the Anakim, descendants of Enoch, whose name in ancient tongues means those who fell from the sky. Their bloodline was said to trace directly back to the rebellious Watchers. When the Israelites first saw them in the land of Canaan, the spies described them as so vast that humans looked like grasshoppers beside them. These giants were not merely tall, they radiated a supernatural presence that terrified all who crossed their path. The third race, the Emons, were the embodiment of terror itself. Their name translates as fearsome ones. Ancient Jewish historian Flavius Josephus described them as monstrous in both form and sound. Their roars so loud they could paralyze armies with fear. Unlike the Anakim or Rephaim, the Emons weren't remembered for kingdoms or fortresses, but for the sheer dread they inspired wherever they appeared. They were chaos made flesh. The Zuzim, though less famous, were another of these ancient tribes. Their name means strong or sturdy, and they lived east of the Jordan in the region of Ashtaroth. The book of Genesis records how they were slaughtered during the campaign of Kedorlaomer, the Elamite king. Their defeat marked a turning point, one of the first recorded wars between humans and giants. It symbolized humanity's gradual rise against the supernatural tyrants that once dominated the earth. The final and most mysterious race were the Zamzumim. Dwelling east of the Jordan, they were said to stand up to 15 feet tall, rivaling the Anakim in size and power. The Ammonites eventually fought and wiped them out, seizing their lands. Yet their memory lingered. The name Zamzumim itself possibly derived from a word meaning plotters or conspirators, hinting that these beings were not only mighty in strength, but cunning in spirit. Their fall marked the end of an era, the last great tribe of giants erased from the earth. What's most haunting is that these stories aren't confined to the Old Testament alone. Echoes of the Nephilim appear in cultures across the world, from Sumerian tales of sky-fallen gods to Egyptian carvings of towering rulers. Even in the time of Moses, the presence of sorcerers in Pharaoh's court performing supernatural feats suggests that the same dark powers which birthed the Nephilim were still active, hidden within human civilization. Though the Bible tells us their bodies perished, their legacy may not have vanished completely. From ancient temples aligned with the stars to myths of demigods who ruled nations, the fingerprints of these hybrid beings can still be traced. Perhaps the giants were not fully destroyed. Perhaps they simply changed form, their influence persisting through secret knowledge, bloodlines, and the unseen powers that still shape our world today. The story of the giants is not just an account of the past. It is a warning. For as history shows, what once walked among men may yet return.